All right. So just do one thing. Open your VS Code and give an exclamation mark over there and press enter. And over there you will get a boilerplate code inside which you find that it is written metadata. So, what do you mean by that metadata? Over there, it might be written that UTF-8 and all those things. So, what does that signify? That signifies about what kind of data we are providing to the users. Say, for example, we are providing some data to the user, then the data is in UTF-8 format. So, that thing is provided by our metadata, which is why it is known as the data of the data. So here, it is given you people about the definition of the annotation. Annotation does nothing change to our logic, but what it does, it helps in configuring the behavior of the logic, as it is written in the override. Override does nothing, but it helps the uh, code reader to understand what is being carried on over there. So here are some of the reasons that tell us why is annotation so much necessary. So previously what used to happen, whenever we were writing any kind of data, we used classes as well as IDs separately for each and every tag. So that thing is replaced by our REST controller annotation in the updation of the Java or the Spring Boot framework. So, what do we understand from that? It is helpful for the code simplicity, which helps to make the which helps to make our code more simple and easy to understand. And that also helps us to write less code for developing our logic. And then it also provides the framework support, compile time checking, and then runtime processing. See, I told you people, right? Before the annotations, we had to write our classes as well as IDs differently. The ID has to be book controller, and the class we are mentioning whichever thing over here, that is class com.example.demo.controller. We had to write all these things inside the separate classes. Got it? Using the XML, that is extensive markup language. Did you people understood till here? Whatever I tried to make you understand. So, Suresh, we were facing a lot of issues. Got it? Before starting the session, in the initial days of starting the session, we were having a lot of issues due to some people present inside the class. So we did not provide any access to the candidates in order to please repeat the same with example. Okay. Let me write the code in my notepad. Then you will. So in the notepad, I'm having nothing. So what I will do at first is I will import java dot util dot scanner, because I will be and who can tell me why do we use this scanner class? Okay, so we use this scanner class to take input from the user, and then I will declare my class, that is class annotations. And I'll initialize my main class, that is public, or else inside this what I will do, I'll make int a is equal to scanner sc is equal to new scanner system.in. So this is what I have done. I have made the object of my scanner class, which I will use in order to take the input from the user. System.out.println, enter a number. Int a is equal to sc dot next int. So this class is doing what? It is asking the user to take an input. And then what do we mean by overriding? So what if I place the entire logic inside a function? Public static void input inp. So from here we can say that this function is asking the user to take an input. So inside the other class, I will initiate the class, that is class anno2, 2, and I will inherit this function from the annotation class. So for that, I will write extends annotation. And here I will write override, and then I will use the same function to print hello all of you. I will create another class main extends anno2. I will create see, whenever we are mentioning static for a particular function, we do not need to create any object for that particular function. So we can simply write, or we can simply call the function in the main class. Public static void main. Within that, I'll write string args. INP. I will save it and write main.java. Save. I will open my command prompt, go to the documents, Java C main.java. Just a second. Okay, save it. Did you people understand the code? Ma'am, you tell me why we need to make another function and extend there. Is this required to do? See, Prince, I am trying to give you an example of overriding. So, in the previous class, while teaching you people oops, over there, what did I tell you people? Whenever the function of the child class does not satisfy with the function of the parent class, what we do over there? We override the function, which means we make the function to perform some different tasks. So, that is what I'm trying to do over here. In the parent class, that is annotation, it is asking the user for the input. But inside the child class, I have overridden the same function, that is INP, in order to print the message, hello all of you. So in the input, so for the output, it will provide us with the message, hello all of you, instead of asking the user for the input. I hope I made your point clear, Prince. Prince, am I clear? Okay. The S has to be capital. And the O also has to be capital. Oh God. So here we are getting the error that static methods cannot be overwritten. So for that, we have to make the object of the particular class. So for that, I will write anno2 an is equal to new NO2. After making the object of the class, I will use the object in order to call the function, that is an dot inp. See, instead of taking the input from the user, it is providing us with the message, hello all of you. So this is what we do in the overriding. See over here, this override has nothing to do inside the code. Or else, if I comment this override, still the code will work. I will save it. I'll press CLS and then I'll again try to run the code, that is Java C main dot Java. See, it is working fine and it will also provide us with the output. See, we are getting the same output. So what does that mean? The presence of this override is negligible inside the code, but we still include it in our code in order to make the reader understand the thing that we are trying to carry out over here, right? The same goes with the annotations. But on the other hand, these annotations have some importance. So before the annotations came into existence, what we did, we used to write the same code that we wrote previously in the class in this format. That is, we used to specify the id with the name of the folder and then the class name, that is com example demo book controller. We used to write this code multiple times. Each time we created the folder and then we used to write our code. So this was very time consuming back then in order to write the same thing again and again. So for that purpose, the REST controller came into existence and made our complete what to say code writing very easier task. So instead of writing the class as well as ID again and again, what do we simply do? We will simply write this REST controller, which eliminates the use of class and ID while declaring a class. And inside this REST controller, we are having our request mapping. And this request mapping annotation, what it does, it provides us with the API endpoints. As you people can see in the codes that we have mentioned API and then books. These are our endpoints. So what do we get to know from this? That request mapping annotation provides our API endpoint. And then this get mapping annotation signifies what? We need to use the get method inside the mapping in order to get the list of our books. Are you people being able to understand? Are you people being able to understand? Yes, please reply. Yeah, okay. See, I told you people that get mapping means when a user sends a get request, we need to run this method. It tells the compiler that when the user sends the get request, then then the compiler has to execute this particular method, that is get all books. And over there, we do not need the XML configurations, that is this configuration, book controller and class com example demo, etc. See, the example code of REST controller. You don't need to worry. This entire Word file will be given to you people after the class ends. So, see over here, the REST controller. What does this REST controller do? This REST controller specifies that we are trying to create an controller API, right? So for say for example, I want to print hello world. So for that, I will use two kind of annotations, that is REST controller and then get mapping annotation. The REST controller says the compiler that what the user is doing. The user is trying to create an API for doing what? For providing a get request which is having the API that is hello in order to print hello world. So what does this REST controller do? This REST controller combines couple of annotations. Which annotations? We are having controller annotation as well as we were also having this @REST annotation. This what this REST controller did, it combined both the annotations. So without REST controller, we used to write the code as in this way. At first, we used to write controller and then we used to provide the class and then get mapping and then we used to declare response body. So in order to eliminate this response body, what we did? They created a simple annotation that is the REST controller. Got it? So if you do not mention the REST controller, what you have to do, you have to again and again mention response body over there. So doing again, this comes to the same thing, that doing the same task again and again becomes too very difficult for us. For that purpose, for one time we can write the REST controller and then we can use it again and again for different classes. Now coming on to the request mapping annotation. As I have told you people already, the request mapping provides with the endpoint. See, it's written all method inside will have API and then books. And now, as we have different methods of the HTTP requests, that is get request, post request, put and delete requests. Similarly, we are having different annotations for different requests. For get request, we are having get mapping. For post request, we are having post mapping. For delete, we are having delete mapping. So let's just run our code. See, what you have to do is, let me just end the file. I will close the folder. So I want you people to execute the code with me only, right? So just go to your file and wherever you have written your code. Got it? I have written my code inside the demo file, which is present inside over here. And just go to your Spring Boot. Just yeah. So here I had the codes of my previous class and the annotations that I used. That is request mapping, get mapping. The second mapping is where I'm using my ID in order to get the book by ID, as well as I am creating a new book, and then finally I am deleting my book. So here I will go to this icon. Are you people getting this icon? I have told you people to install the Spring Boot dashboard. If you have installed it, then you will get the icon over there as well. Are you people getting it? Getting the okay, Prince is getting the icon. Who else is getting? Bhavesh. All right. Gurmeet, do one thing. Install the extension that is Spring Boot Dashboard. Then you will also get that. Gurmeet, it is shared to you people in the group only. Okay. So I will go over here. Okay. You might be getting somewhat this kind of things. So what I will do inside this apps, I will get this run button. I will press this button and inside the terminal, automatically things will get executed. See over here, it is written Tomcat started on port 8080. So I got my port number here as well. What I will do, let me first close these files. I'll open my Postman. See here, I have already provided my URL with the port number 8080 and with the API endpoints, that is API and then books. Inside the body, I will send it. See, I'm having a couple of books inside my book data. I'll show you people. Let's do one thing. Let's add one book more. I will provide post. And which API endpoint did I provide for post? And what I had inside my database schema. I had the ID, title as well as author. Okay, I'll provide another thing. ID will be 3. Title will be Harry Potter. And then the author will be J.K. Rowling. I will send the data. See, it is providing me with the status code that is 200 and OK. And here I will change the request, that is get request, and I will get the book with the ID 3. See, I'm getting my book with ID 3 over here after specifying the book ID. What if I do not mention my book ID? Then I'll get all 3 books. That is the first book, Spring Boot Guide, which is written by John Doe, and then Java for Beginners, which is written by Jane Smith. And then I'm also getting the data of my book Harry Potter, which is written by J.K. Rowling. And finally, if I put that delete request with the ID that is 2, I will send, and if I get all the books, sending the request. See, I do not have any data of ID 2 over here. What does it mean? The data having ID 2 got deleted from my database. So this is how our API works. Am I clear? Okay, Nand Kishore. Nand Kishore, we have made the API, right, in the previous class. So suppose you do not have any front end in order to test the API. Got it? In some websites, you might have seen that we get some of the forms where we are required to fill our name, email, as well as password, right? So in those websites, what we do, we press our submit button in order to send these data to the backend. So when a backend engineer do not have any front end in order to test his APIs, so for those backend engineers, these Postman, which is a testing application, is used, where they test their APIs in the same way that I did over here. They just simply mention their URL as well as all the required and necessary things they have to perform, and then they get the output over here in the form of the JSON format. Did I make my point clear to you, Nandkishore? Why do we use this Postman application? Okay. Any further questions? You people are free to ask me. We can also write this in JS. You see, Yash, we are using Java development separately and we are using Modern development separately. So when we are using Java development, so we are supposed to write our code in Java only. Yeah, in Modern development also you can write this thing. You can using JavaScript. So as I told you people in the Java development class that I will teach you annotation, and then I will show you the output of the code that I have provided to you people. So for that only, I have taught you annotation before providing you with the output. Java development is the different thing and MERN development is the different thing. For MERN we use JS and for Java we use Java development we use Java. Okay. Your code is not running. What error is it throwing to you? So just do one thing in the testing API, go to 8080 and cut it down. Press the cross icon. Failed to start. Just copy paste the error in the chat box. Any doubt regarding the annotations, if you people do have? Except that, I will share the word file to you people. You can study it as well. Any further doubts, people are free to ask me, because when I will ask my doubts and you fail to answer to my doubts, I will mark you people with less marks. Now, what are the different type of request and their purpose? All right, Nandkishore. So, say for example, we are storing some of the data, like we did the ID, then our email, and then our phone number, right? We are storing our data's email ID and their phone number in our database. So how will we able to know like what data we are having inside our database? So for that we also do not have our front end. So we will go to our Testman API, Testman application, Postman application, and over there, what we will do in order to get all the data which are present inside our database, we will set our HTTP method, that is get method, and after that we will provide a URL, and then we will click on the send button, from which the code that we have written will able to understand that user wants to get all the data which is present in the URL, which is the backend of this URL. So over there inside the console or the terminal, we will get all our data which are present inside our MongoDB in the JSON format. This is what our get requests. Got it? Secondly, what if we want to get a particular data? We will specify an ID for that data, separate IDs for separate data, like we did over here, for separate IDs for separate books. And in the API endpoint, we will mention that particular ID in order to get the data of that book. So this is the second type of uh, get method, where we are also providing our unique ID in order to get a particular data. This is what our get request was. And then coming on to the post request. Say for example, in the already existing database, we are having, we want to add a new entry over there. So for that, we will set the HTTP method as post, and after that, we will again specify the URL with some of the endpoints, and then inside the body, we will provide the value for our already mentioned fields, that is ID, book, and then author. So that is how our post method works, by adding one more data to our database. This is what our post request. And then finally, if we want to delete something, we will use our delete request in a similar way. Got it, Nandkishore? Okay. Could not send request. I am getting this error. How are you people getting this error? I am not being able to understand. Just do one thing. Go to YouTube, right? Over there, just search how to send the API requests using my Spring Boot. Got it? And try to set it on your own, because I am on the other end, right? And you people are on the other end. If I was present with you people, then yeah, this is your URL. So I cannot help you people with fixing your machine related issues, right? If you people were facing any issues with the code, then I might have told you people to share your screen so that I can correct your code. Any further doubt regarding the code or annotations, and regarding the postman? Just do one thing, copy this entire thing and then paste it in ChatGPT and ask it how to resolve this error. Because inside the, just say if I write the URL of my website, http localhost 8080 API books. See over here, I am getting all the books in a JSON format with ID 1, that is Spring Boot Guide, author, and these things. Got it? Your website should be in this format. Did you people see the website, or you want me to show you people the website again with the output? How can I share my postman so that you can add? You have to add the entries in your own database, right? So using the postman, you can add data in your own database with your Mongo URI. Okay, okay. Let me share my screen. You want to see the post? Yeah, see. That was postman, and this is the website where I'm getting my where the backend data is stored. Do one thing. Uh, Copy paste your entire code, each and everything. That is REST controller and all those things. Paste it in a notepad and then send it to the team, and they will forward it to me, and I will debug the code and say I'll send it back to you without using GTP. Okay, without GPT. Which error did you solve, Prince? Any further doubts? Or you want me to show you a post request or delete request, any kind of request again? Yes, please reply with a yes or no at least. So I assume that you people are not having any doubts because despite